This video, we're diving into the realm of my own personal interest. This is a little bit different than what we normally talk about on this channel, which is blockchain and cryptocurrency, but this is going to show that pretty much everyone out there is starting to adopt blockchain technology. So we're going to start with this here, and maybe you can guess what it is. These are actually PSA graded Pokemon cards. Which some of you watching this are like, what? What does this have to do with anything? Well, there is a person I admire who is commonly known as King Pokemon, and he has collected quite the collection of Pokemon cards. It's been featured on numerous YouTube channels, including none other than Graham Stephan and Logan Paul. So this guy is the real deal when it comes to collectibles. So this guy is very commonly known for being on Pawn Stars trying to sell his Charizard collection.
I have probably the world's #1 Pokemon collection inside this case.
This guy's got Pokemon cards.
The most expensive card is probably the pristine 10 first edition base Charizard. The card itself is considered the crown jewel of the Pokemon world.
And how much is that worth?
In the range of 50 to 100,000.
So how much do you want for these things?
I'm looking for right in the area of $500,000.
And they ultimately said no. That collection is now worth significantly more, and I think he's in the realm of 10 million in value of Pokemon cards or higher, which is just crazy. I myself am collecting these PSA 10 graded cards, so here's one for example. This is a PSA 10 first edition Charmeleon. We also have the starter Pokemon, and then none other than Bill, the strongest card of them all. So what do these cost? Well, I have all of the cheap ones. I mean, they're still pretty expensive to the average being. Some of these are in the thousands, but the most iconic card is the first edition Charizard, which is probably, a few 100,000, close to 500,000. And this guy literally has a stack of them. It's crazy. The collectible space is going digital, and even King Pokemon has announced an NFT of his own. So I chatted with Gary, and the question came up of whether it would be appropriate to buy an NFT using a debit card. And people who are 100% cryptocurrency would say this is essentially heresy because it's against the whole point of cryptocurrency. But people like me who are a little bit more realistic of how people are going to adopt cryptocurrency, we need a simple, smooth solution like that. And I think these worlds are going to basically collide where we have the crypto enthusiasts and experts and the normal people, I guess you could say, and they eventually merge and have the same ideas on how to purchase and work with cryptocurrencies. So I don't know what this is going to look like, but realistically, cryptocurrency is going to be embedded in typical debit cards. Purchasing NFTs is going to be overall an easier experience for a normal person. And digital collectibles are ultimately going to become mainstream where normal people have them. I mean, I even know of apps on phones where younger people are getting into digital collectibles, and it's not odd. Whereas for people who are a little older, like my age or older, they see it as like, what's the point? Like, even this cardboard piece of paper is questionably valuable. Now we're going digital, but it's just a different world now. So this is something I think we all need to adapt to and explore what's going to happen. Now, I don't typically do these raw interviews on my YouTube channel just because the quality is horrendous. I even forgot to use my quality microphone because I'm an idiot. So the quality is not great, but I put the whole clip, the whole conversation at the end of this video for you guys to watch if you're interested. It was recorded about a week ago, so when we talk about dates, it's about a week ago. So he's launching an NFT and it was ultimately delayed to, I think, tomorrow or something. So this is important if you want to get in on that NFT, basically King Pokemon's first NFT drop. Anyways, I'm done rambling. Let's just roll the clip. Let me make sure my audio is set up. Yep, we are good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me good? No, not that clip. This clip.
Yeah, this is Gary, Real King Pokemon on Instagram and King Pokemon on YouTube. So I guess I'm the original one. Recently, there's been a lot of imposters in that have changed one letter in my name on Instagram, added one letter, and then go to my followers and then try to scam the followers. So yeah. It's really disheartening, that happens. Plus, I was hacked on Instagram where I totally lost my account. And so it seems like the more followers you get, the more people come after you.
Yeah, it's the way it seems. So in a way, I guess it means you've made it. But we've even dealt with some issues like that on this channel, and
Right.
it's a really big issue in the finance and cryptocurrency space, or pretty much any investing where there's money to be made. Then there's scammers who are trying to get
Right.
people's money. Um, but yeah, I think it's a really interesting collab here because what we do is very different, but there's some interesting things that are similar too. So I'm really happy that you joined me. I did want to just kind of talk to you a little bit about uh, before we jump into some of the things I want to talk. I just wanted to see, what got you started and where you plan on taking the social media stuff, because I know you've been collaborating with a lot of big creators, and you're pretty established yourself, and
Mhm.
Pokemon's kind of gone viral again. So
Right. Yeah. Well, first off, this is a really, really interesting time for you and I to be talking after what's happened today. Do
oh
you know
really?
anything about what's happened with me today?
I do not.
Well, before we get off here, we'll have a discussion on what happened today. Uh, and so what you're going to find and your listeners are going to find really, really interesting. So, but we will get to that. I won't let us get off until I
I
tell you
gotta
about it.
know ahead of time though. Is it good news or bad
Uh, I guess it's one of those good and bad news
news? Yeah.
things. In fact,
Okay.
you'll know better than I do, whether it's good or bad. And I'm going to be asking you for advice on what does this mean, because you're very familiar with the business financial side of it. Me, I'm very much a novice when
Well,
it comes to the new ways. And so I'm going to be asking you that same question in a little while. So everybody stay tuned. It's going to be a fun conversation.
wow. I'm
But
eager to hear.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, well, of course, I, like most people know, I got started in Pokemon with the Japanese release into the United States. But as far as a hobby, I got involved in January of 1999 after it hit the States in English.
Mm.
And my sons, I had two sons at the time. Well, I still do, but I mean, they were 8 and 9 years old at the time, and they were into Pokemon just like if you think it's crazy now, I mean, it was unbelievably crazy then. People talk about scalpers and
Yeah.
all this. Listen, it was way worse in the beginning. You could not you were driving out of state just to
Mm.
find booster packs.
That's
And
crazy.
but that's just the way life is. When something gets popular, there's going to develop a secondary market to it. It's nothing illegal. It's, as
Mhm.
far as I'm concerned, it's nothing immoral either. I mean, how can you fault people for trying to maximize profit in whatever way they can? So I say it's fine, but this is nothing new today.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
happening in 99. It was happening in 2005. It was happening in 2009. It happened again in 2016. And now it's happening now in 2021. All I can tell everybody is just stay tuned. Just don't worry. The shelves are empty today. They're not going to be empty tomorrow. That's always proven to be true. So just hang in there. Uh, Adjust your collecting habits a little bit. Maybe go towards something a little different than what you are today, and you're going to be perfectly fine. The hobby is fine. We're all going to be fine. We always get through these periods. So anyway.
that's all good news. Yeah. I mean, I collected them personally as a kid, but I mean, I didn't know what was worth anything. I probably
Right.
buried them in the dirt. But now I've been getting back into it, and I specifically have been trying to collect the PSA 10 first editions.
Okay.
But I'm still very early in on my journey. So I have Bill here, and then I have a couple of others, the starter Pokemon. But I'm hoping to finish off the non-holo set this year, and then we'll start with the holos next year. But
Well, it's
it's
actually a great investing strategy. You would a lot of people might not think so. But listen, the holofoils and all that are super expensive and no surprise, of their value. But sometimes the commons, uncommons, and non-holo rares slip under the radar a little
mm,
bit, and you can
yeah.
get pretty good value, especially when you put them together and end up with a set. I mean, sets, most things you sell separately, you do better. In this case, it's so hard to build a set that sets proportionally are better than singles. So,
That's good to hear. I'm
yeah,
glad you weren't like, oh, that's a bad idea. I want to do that. So
right.
I'm glad I feel pretty confident in my choice. Um,
Maybe I should say that's a bad idea, so it won't cost you as much.
yeah, that could work. So the YouTube channel I do is all about cryptocurrency and blockchain, and I found it interesting that you were hacked. Not that it's a good thing. Obviously, it's really bad and it can happen to pretty much anyone.
Right.
But I was maybe being a little nosy and curious what happened when your account was hacked. What was the result, and was cryptocurrency involved with potential scams and people stealing money?
Well, they tried, but it turns out my followers are, and probably most Pokemon followers, they're not dumbbells, right? They if they saw a real king Pokemon with two eyes in the king, right, and then they
Mhm.
see 300 followers, they know that's not me, right? So I did not hear, and I was not only the hack, but also all the times they tried to scam my followers by changing their name. Not I didn't hear of anybody who got ripped off, but
That's
then
good to hear.
everybody was reporting. When you have thousands and thousands of followers, that's a lot of messages, and some might get through to
Mm.
Instagram. So now,
Yeah.
when I was hacked, this is interesting. When I was hacked, in other words, they took over my account and I couldn't get in. That was an interesting situation. I actually got a communication going with the hacker. Uh,
Mm.
it started where he said, "Well, listen, you give me 5,000, I'll give you your account back,"
Wow.
right? But that opened up the lines of communication, so I was able to talk back and forth over the period of a couple days, and he ended up telling me how he got my account.
Oh wow.
He had found an old Yahoo account that my wife had, and somehow going through that old Yahoo account led into one of my account email accounts, and then into my Instagram. So in a roundabout way, uh, I had certain things in place, protections that you would be familiar with. But in this case, he it was such a roundabout way that. But I told that to quite a few people, and they were all they were all happy to learn that that can
Yeah.
be done that way. And so anyway, I got out of it because the guy ended up making no money. And then I had a good friend of mine has a good presence on social media, and he got his guys working. That's Steve Aoki. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
he got his guys, his gang working on it, and his gang was bigger than the scammers gang. And so anyway, I ended up getting my account back, and nothing was lost.
That's
Uh, a
fantastic.
yeah, so I didn't suffer any consequences, but it did take about 5 6 days, and I was kind of embarrassed, that would happen. A lot of people
Yeah.
were saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, and I said, well, I don't think I do that, I don't think I do this. And then the hacker himself told me how he got in. So
Yeah.
that was something I could have only avoided if I was a genius tech person and knew what to do with those old email accounts, right?
Yeah.
And
It's hard. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't consider myself a genius tech person, but I'm fairly familiar with technology, and I've even had situations where I'll get an email notification that someone was trying to get in my account,
Hmm.
or they guessed the password or something crazy.
Right.
But it's good that overall the situation wasn't too bad. I actually saw rumors just all across different accounts when this was going on that there was confirmed like fake sales of Pokemon cards, but it doesn't sound like that may have been the case, and maybe some of those weren't true, which is good to hear
Right.
for everybody's sake. Because especially with the scams, they're often so tightly coupled with cryptocurrencies, which are irreversible. So like if you send someone money, you can't just undo it. So it's
You're
def
right. They were definitely going after cryptos. They were
yeah,
definitely going after that to get, saying that, well, you won this PSA 10 Lugia for 60,000, and at the time market was about 120,000.
yeah.
And that was kind of a dead giveaway too, because everybody knows, at least in this business, they know I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sell a $120,000 card for $60,000. And so that was a little bit of a red flag in itself. But
Yeah.
yeah, but he was trying to get people to pay in crypto. Then he would just charge them half price, and then he gets the 60,000. He's gone. Fortunately, that didn't happen. All my fault. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of followers that jumped in to not only report it, but also to post it on their stories, and to get the word around that Gary was hacked. Don't pay attention, and report. So
Yeah, it's good that you have a strong following that supports you that way.
yes.
And I had it's kind of a funny story. A
Mhm.
a fake Caleb was reaching out to people selling a real estate course, and
Oh,
I don't even really do real estate, so it's like why would someone fall for that? I don't know, but
right,
crazy
right.
people what people will do for a penny. So
Yeah, yeah. People also, the followers, they want to believe it so bad. They want to
yeah,
believe that, well, Gary contacted me and he's giving me this card. He'll probably autograph it for me. They want to believe that, and that makes them a little susceptible to these scammers.
yeah, for
So
sure. I mean, I personally would want an autograph card from you, so
you
I
got
understand.
it.
So I'm glad that we talked about that. There was another area of what I talk about on my channel that
Uh-huh.
I imagine you've heard of, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's related to what you wanted to share. But
Uh-huh.
in the blockchain space, there's a lot of talk of digital trading card games with technology known as NFTs.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if you've heard much about them, and where you see that being in the next couple of years, if it's something you're interested in or if it's just not tangible enough.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Again, Steve Aoki, he messaged me today saying that he was going to be dropping his soon,
Oh yeah.
that are going to be attached to trading cards.
Oh yeah,
And
awesome.
and normally soon after he tells me, he posts it. So I think it's on his Instagram now, just under uh, well, I think it's just under Steve Aoki on his story or something.
I'll have to
But
check it out.
he's doing, and he has some premium cards. He has a Pokemon Illustrator. Uh, he bought a PSA 10 first edition Charizard for me. I know he has that. He has a lot of good cards, and now he can attach the NFTs to, or those are the NFTs or something. See, I'm not real good at
Y-
that stuff,
No,
but
it's all good.
but exactly two things, exactly what you're saying, that is being done, and I guess it's a good idea. Now, the other thing is, do you know Andre Jick?
Yeah, the
Okay, okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, we were at a party together at Graham Stephan's house, and and so we were talking, and it was during one of Logan's box breaks, and
Yeah.
so we were all together, together just eating and talking, and he mentioned to me, because I brought over cards for people that not for sale just to look at, and he said, we should do an NFT, attached to these cards, and we should really do that, Gary. And I said, well, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, but I said, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. I said, I'll certainly, do something like that. But then
Yeah.
what has it been, almost 2 months? As the time went on, he just didn't get around to being able to initiate it.
Mm.
And now I hear Steve is doing it. So it must have been a good idea because Steve has some very, very smart people around him. And so it must be a good idea. But actually, Andre and I could have done that ourselves 2 months ago. And had I
Yeah.
known anything about it and had he pushed me. So,
Well, I definitely think he would be one to make it happen. He's really dropping some great content in the crypto space. So
yeah,
um,
yes.
I don't think it's too late for you. And I think
Oh,
having your background, I think it could do really well.
yeah. Well, I
I'm
should text him. I should text him after our conversation and tell him you said so. And, when's he going to get on the ball and do? Because
yeah,
I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Right.
yeah. Tell him if
I,
he
I
doesn't do
need
it,
him
I'll
to do it.
do it. So it's a time
Well,
thing.
well, if he won't do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's right. But there's also talk of main large companies doing this as well, such as Magic, the Gathering, possibly doing official NFT drops. And I mean, there hasn't been any announcements to the extent of my knowledge, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years, Pokemon themselves release basically a digital first edition set and auction those off or sell them in packs or something. Is that
That
something?
wouldn't surprise me either. Magic, I think, is more likely sooner because it's
Yeah,
an American company, Wizards of the Coast, and now Pokemon is 100% Japanese, and
yeah,
they operate their businesses a little bit differently. They might not be at the forefront of NFTs and things like that. So that could
yeah,
be a while, but I mean, it's $1 million idea. Bring up the
certainly.
first edition base set, put a NFT attached to it, and they have the licensing, of course, right? So I
Mhm.
mean, it could be a gold mine.
Yeah, one of the really interesting things about NFTs is beyond just the same exact digital cards, you can tie little video clips in there or moments in different video games, and even some of
Yeah,
the characters you play with in games can be NFTs. So if you're playing the game and you catch a rare Pokemon, that might actually have value outside of just that game. So I think
there
there's
you
really
go.
huge potential. Um,
Cool.
I,
Yeah,
I I think you're right that they might be a little slower to the game, but maybe they'll jump in once it's kind of consistent and people understand how it works, and they'll probably
right.
do a whole lot better. So the
Yeah,
question is though,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
they're so concerned about their reputation and they guard Pokemon, the trademarks, and that like it's a multi-billion-dollar business, which it is, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Do you think you would try to buy one if they released it?
I think so. Why not? I mean, King Pokemon, and by then I'll be a little bit smarter on what this is
Yeah.
all about.
Yeah. You'll have to.
Because you know what, my background is in biochemistry.
Oh wow.
I was no math genius. So
Yeah.
so when it comes to the mathematics of this whole thing, I need somebody like you to walk me through it. And uh, but I'll tell you what, it's fascinating. Now I've said a number of times in interviews that uh, when uh, there was only one house on the block that had a TV set when I was in my up through 1960. I was born in 54. So up through
Wow.
1960, there was one house with a TV set, and we used to go over, the kids run over there, peek in their window, and try to watch the screen, right? And
Crazy.
then, because we thought, well, what does everybody need a TV for, right? And then when cell phones came out, I said, what a stupid idea this is. There's a phone booth there. There's a phone booth on the next block. There's a phone booth on the next block. What in the world do you need a phone in your pocket for, right? Well,
Yeah.
that was pretty intuitive, huh? So I don't claim to know very much about, any of this stuff, but when it comes to this, enough people who I respect, who are awfully smart, they're into it, and they all have solid opinions, and so it's kind of won me over. The
That's awesome.
crypto, the NFTs, the crypto, and all that.
Yeah, there's so much to learn, and I think it's just something that will come with time. When people have been exposed to it for a few years, it'll just make sense. You can, maybe people will be buying food at a restaurant with Dogecoin or like whatever it is, but we'll just have to
Right.
see. Right now, I think people are a little, hesitant, and
Mhm.
especially with NFTs, because it's really hard to value right now.
Yeah.
But I think in the next, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, it's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, even now, it's
You
a
you
little
know
overwhelming.
all the things I've heard have been either 100% positive or 100% negative. It's like there's no middle ground. It's either you love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And then based on what you just said, that's probably what's going to take. Those two extremes are going to have to come together until there's something that can be understood by both sides. Don't go
Yeah.
overboard, but don't totally reject it either. So, and what I have to tell you later, yes, it has something to do with that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, those are the main two things I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk about the risks of just being cautious on social media with, for one, accounts you follow, but also your own account, and also cryptocurrency, because it's really risky when you're sending it to people that you think you know who they are, but you never really know until you confirm it. So
Can I
that,
ask you something?
yeah.
What are the red flags as far as people you follow?
Well, obviously, if there's any kind of, whenever someone reaches out to you, like if they're famous or popular or whatever, you want to double check their account. Ideally, they're verified, which isn't always the case,
Yeah.
but you should confirm that account on their other social medias. So, like in my case, I always have my Instagram handle at the end of my videos. So people watch my video and they know that if it's at Caleb Curry, then that is my official Instagram. Now,
Right.
what if I get hacked? That's a little harder, I'm assuming, to see, but in that situation, word of mouth I think will spread pretty quickly, and that seemed to work out for you.
See, I believe I should be verified. Just about every couple weeks, I go through the process of what you're supposed to do to get
Hmm.
verified. And I mean, it's not that I have 43,000 followers. What it really is I've been hacked once completely, my entire account, where they went after my followers,
Hmm.
and then I've had duplicate accounts made, copying my name
Yeah,
and
and all
going to
your
and
photos
going
and
to my followers and doing all them. I mean, I really, really can't believe that they don't verify me. And
yeah, it's crazy.
plus I go to shows and I'll have 1,000, 2,000 people. I mean, it's not that I'm unknown, and
Hmm.
yet I can't get verified. So I really don't, I really don't understand that. I don't. And
Yeah.
also, let me ask you something. Why isn't there a way that we can hide our followers?
I don't know. That's a good question. Um, I can't say for sure. But another thing I thought of that might help with just protecting your money, and just if you're talking to who you think you're talking to,
Hmm.
video chat them. Like I bought cards from a couple of people on Instagram, the
Uh-huh.
Pokey Jew, for example, who's really big in
Michael.
this space. And I
Uh-huh.
guarantee you, if I was like, "Hey, can you video call me real quick?" He definitely would have done that. So
Right.
I just bought a small card, but if I was buying thousands and thousands of dollars worth, I'd want to make sure I'm talking to who I think I'm talking to.
By the way, Michael, Pokey Jew, he's a great guy. I was just talking to him too about other stuff. Plus, he's going to be a Collecticon in Texas
Oh,
in two
cool.
months with me,
Yeah,
and so
the Pokey Jew, and then I'm working with another guy, Pokey Oz collector, who's been pretty helpful for getting a larger number of the sets. So
very
finding the
good.
right people is definitely important. People you can trust and are
Yes,
willing to chat and prove that they're authentic.
and you're getting only tens, right?
Yep. So far, just PSA 10s, first editions. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not totally opposed to other cards, but I mean, I'm not 100% in studying Pokemon and what's best, but I can know that these ones have value, so it's a little bit easier for me. And they're also the cards that I'm familiar with from when I was just a little kid. So
Oh, okay.
it's definitely something I'm more familiar with and can be more comfortable purchasing.
Right. Well,
Do you
you
have
want
any
to,
recommendations?
no, I mean, you're doing the right thing. Going after the non-hollow first edition base. I think that's the way to go right now. I really do. Shadowless
Awesome.
is a good one also. The Shadowless set, just about anything base set.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
I love MetaZoo too. So, the new thing, MetaZoo.
yeah.
You know,
I'm not
I'm
too
trying to
familiar.
yeah, I'm trying to build my sets right behind me here. Let me show you. Right behind me here, I'm trying to, these are all, in order, hollows and reverse hollows from MetaZoo, that
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to build. I love building sets, and
Yeah.
I love the idea those fellows do. So I mean, I'm not just Pokemon. I just love collecting, and especially when young people try, work so hard to get something out, and they
Mm.
they have a serious passion, and they go full throttle. Man, I can't help but support that.
Yeah.
It's terrific, and
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons I decided to go with the graded cards specifically is because when I was first getting interested in Pokemon, which I've watched some of the videos and stuff over the years, but
yes,
this year is when like my interest really started, and I was looking at buying some on Facebook, and people were selling, you know, 3,000 cards or like 5,000, and to me it just seemed like very saturated, and it's hard to say, it's hard to see value in that, but just saying like, oh, I have a card that very few people have, that's just so much more meaningful to me, at least.
right, yeah,
And I think
uh-huh,
if I was to collect, thousands of cards, that'd probably be something I would want to do, just from like opening packs and collecting them
yeah,
here and there instead of just buying a warehouse of cards. But
yeah.
everyone
Well,
has their own taste.
yeah, well, rarity is a major part of collectible valuation. So, I mean, I think it's there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So I definitely, if you're ready, I definitely want to hear what kind of stuff you're working on, and if there's
Okay.
anything I
Well,
can help with.
I'll tell you, this last 2 weeks, I've been working on my own NFT. Not me,
Knew it.
yeah, but I have a guy. I have a guy who's he's from London. He's a Barclay banker, a banker for Barclays Bank. A super nice guy. His name is Cam, or on Instagram, I think it's Blue Gorilla underscore group. Anyway, he had the NFT made, two of them, one that would be a one of one, and one that would be one of 9.99 or something.
Oh, I see.
And we had it all set up where it was dropping tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time,
Hmm.
and we had the clubhouse all set up. A lot of the people we've already mentioned here, and other people were going to come on the clubhouse, and we were going to talk about the drop. I've never done it before, so I don't really know. I
Yeah,
know that it's like a virtual stage or something.
yeah.
And
You got
I
to
would
build a lot of hype around it.
Yeah, and I would be a part of that stage, that stage group, because it's kind of my rookie NFT, I guess you could
Yeah.
call it. And and then I kept getting messages from my followers saying, well, we don't have cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
We would love to participate, but we can't afford, $2,000-3,000, and we don't have cryptocurrency. I kept getting that, and finally, I talked to Cam this afternoon. I told him, I said, you know what? I just don't like this. I
Hmm.
said, it's way too. I mean, I could not buy it myself. I don't have a crypto account or anything, right? And
Yeah.
so and so we decided to put it off for 1 week from
I
the
see.
2nd to the 9th. And then on the 9th, he's getting set up now where they'll be able to take credit card, debit card, and that. I don't know the technical side of it,
Huh.
but just the fact that the only guys that that could get them were people with crypto accounts. It
Hmm.
just did, and I got dozens of people saying I'd love to buy one because I told them I wanted it to be like 400 or 500, something cheap enough, right?
Yeah.
That 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 most people could afford, and and then they didn't have crypto accounts, so they couldn't do it. So
I'm really
just
curious
just
how that.
today, just today, I stopped that, and now he's working to get into a different kind of account where, see, this is the thing you understand and I don't, but by next Sunday, people are going to be able to use their debit or credit card to take money into something that will convert to something. And so what my question to you is, uh, do you follow what's going on with me with this right now?
I haven't heard about this NFT drop, so it's new news to me. I follow you to some extent, but
Yeah,
apparently not closely enough because I would have missed out on that, and I want to see how it goes.
yeah,
I'm definitely curious, like how the debit cards work, and if it ends up being converted to cryptocurrency, and maybe that's something like I'll consider because I want to do some NFTs sometime soon
right.
for whatever I do.
Yeah, and
um,
it's cheap. It's not an expensive one. Plus, it's my first one. Plus, I have a couple more major things planned for
that's awesome.
NFTs.
That's
Things that
great.
are well beyond me, uh, that I'm involved in, but well beyond me. And that was one of my questions to you. Having something laid out ahead like that, could that help the initial one, the
Yeah,
rookie one? It could, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Like a
because
baseball card, right?
exactly. I mean,
Okay.
if for example, if Pokemon only released the first edition set and then went out of business, yeah, they could have value, but every time they release a new set, people are always wanting the original, the source. And
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
all the musicians and the actors and creators are starting to do that for their own digital merch or whatever you want to think of it as. So
Right.
definitely. And there's
Do you
all kinds
think
of
it
different
was a good
ideas with
idea?
that.
You
Yeah,
think it was a good idea for me to, the night before, remember, we had a bunch of people ready for the clubhouse tomorrow morning. And
yeah,
I just totally put a stop to it because I I I didn't want all of them to want to have a chance and have the,
yeah.
people like me that have no crypto or hardly even understand it. And
To an
so
extent,
I
I feel like for those who are familiar with cryptocurrency, they had a pretty good opportunity to maybe get a bunch of these or get them for a good price. But for the niche you're in, most people probably aren't ready to buy those, and maybe that's something in the next year or the next launch that people
uh-huh.
are more familiar. But even if someone who's not in cryptocurrency was like, "Hey, we're selling this NFT next week," it takes a lot of time to actually get your first cryptocurrency. You often have to figure out where to buy it and get approved and
Right.
how to even do it. So I've seen a lot of other creators that are kind of in this situation where they've been basically teaching their audience how to get the cryptocurrency ready a few weeks ahead of time. So I think starting with one that anybody can be involved in and then maybe doing some crypto only ones down in the future, in the future when people are more familiar. I think that's a really good idea. And yeah, you might have delayed that initial launch, but I think this new launch is going to get so many more people excited. And
I sure hope so because I was so discouraged, And listen, I'm going to read something to you because maybe this is the part I want you to explain to me. Under one of my some of my comments, the person said, adding the feature to pay by credit card or debit card makes the process a lot easier, or a lot more easier. And as for holding the token, you can hold that in your MetaMask, which literally takes 2 minutes to set up, and you're ready. So am I right that he is saying that I could go in to MetaMask,
Yeah.
use a credit card, and within 2 minutes, I would be able to purchase one of those tokens from my drop.
Yeah, the MetaMask aspect of it is all correct. I'm unsure how the debit card processing is going to happen. I imagine your guy is going to set that up. But basically, once you purchase that token,
Uh-huh.
you can transfer it to MetaMask, and that's a very easy process because getting MetaMask takes like 2 minutes, like this person
Okay.
said. So it's definitely an easier process.
Uh,
MetaMask itself doesn't use debit cards or credit cards,
yeah.
but the reason that's a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier is because you don't have to deal with an exchange or figuring out how to buy cryptocurrency to get it ready. You just
Oh, okay.
pay with something you already have and then send it to your wallet that you can set up and own in 2 seconds. So
Oh,
it's
well, I'm kind of happy to hear that then.
yeah,
I'm
I think
happy.
it's
I'm
good.
glad
Yeah.
you think it's a good idea because I wanted to make money because the chunk of it is going to the Aoki Foundation.
Yeah.
And so I want to maximize anything I do or anything any of us do, we'd like to maximize the effectiveness.
I
And
think I think there's some crypto enthusiasts or experts out there who are more pure, I guess, who might think of it as heresy,
uh,
but
uh,
it's definitely it's definitely something that people need to adjust to. And I'm more realistic. I mean, I don't expect everyone in the world to understand how to get all this stuff set up, and
right.
it's getting easier every single year as innovation
Okay.
continues. So I
Uh,
think it's a fantastic choice, and that's probably
I,
something I'll even consider for future stuff of mine too.
oh, great. Great. Thanks for that info.
Yeah. Keep me in the loop if you ever want to chat about it or have any other questions. I'm always open to talk
Deal. All
blockchain
right.
stuff.
Sure will.
Is there any other final words or things you would want to share before I'll let you get back to your night?
Well, pretty much that has monopolized my time for the last 2 weeks because Cam messages me almost every day to do something, to put something up. He creates everything for me, but to put something up and to just kind of telling me what to do, but that takes a lot of time. And then I've had just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages of people asking, "What is this all about? How does this work?" They like me, but they're not familiar with crypto or NFTs, right?
Yeah.
And yet they're asking me, who knows absolutely nothing about it. And so I've had to spend a lot of time maneuvering through those waters. And so yeah, right now that's pretty much all all I'm doing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of change happening, and it might be the case that our children, as they're growing up, they'll be like, "You used to trade actual physical cards? That's so weird." And this will just be normal to them, but
Right,
definitely
right.
going to take some time. But
Yes.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining. I will let you know if what comes of this content, and we'll make something happen. That's cool and gets people
Yes.
excited. So thank
Well,
you.
let's do this again, not too far down the road so we can look back and see where we're at,
Yeah.
compared to our comments today, we can review it.
Yeah, you'll grow your blockchain crypto knowledge, and I'll grow my Pokemon knowledge, and maybe we'll trade places at some point.
Oh, I like that. Good idea. That'd make a good movie.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you very much. I
And
appreciate it.
thank you for having me. You take care.
If you're still watching this, hopefully you found that interesting. If you want to see more from this channel, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the upcoming videos.